Hello and thanks for joining me for a tips and tricks video for the Last Caretaker. Today we're going to be having a look at some building and crafting intricacies, a few things that, a few methods that I use. So we've got our crafter over here, and if we have that powered up and we click on into here, let's say I wanted to build a battery. Now, if you've unlocked something, then it'll show up in here. But you can see that this is grayed out, right? If we click on it, it tells us that we're missing a battery cell. The reason it's grayed out is not just because we're missing a battery cell, but we also don't have the materials to make one. So if we click on the battery cell, that's also grayed out. So we have plenty of rubber, we have plenty of fabric, but we don't have any copper. Okay, so just give you a quick look there. Alright, now we can do the exact same thing. Now if you build stuff in here, it's just going to spit it out there. We can access the build menu by hitting B. Alright, and that's going to bring it up in our inventory. Same thing. Okay, so same thing. And the battery cell up here. Okay, same thing. Alright, but if we build from this menu, the items that we build are going to, or craft, are going to craft into our inventory rather than just dropping out on the floor over here. Alright, so it's saying we don't have enough copper. Now, I've got a whole crate full of copper here. But if we go down the bottom of a crate, we've got customize. And crates have proximity that you can turn on or off. So if you turn it off, by default they're on. This one I had turned off just for demonstration purposes. But if you have it turned off, it'll stop any resources being taken out of that crate. So now that we've got that proximity turned off, if we bring up our menu again and we go back down, our battery's no longer grayed out. So if we click on that, okay, we can still see that we need a battery cell, but now it's saying that we can actually make 63 of those, and it's no longer grayed out up here. Okay, we've got everything that we need. So we can go, we could just go here and just build one, and that'll build the battery cell. Or if we click on here, if we right click on there, we can just go add missing parts to the queue. Now you can do this in your crafter as well, but you can see we've just built that and it's now in our inventory. Okay, the rest of the parts are in here. So now we've got enough stuff to make the battery. But what if we wanted to make another one? And let's just say, let's just have a quick look here. Okay, so I'm just going to craft up one more of these battery cells. Just really quickly. Alright, so now if we have a look here, you can see we've got 3 of 2. Okay. And because we've got all the parts, it doesn't give us the option to add missing parts. We have the option to add all parts, and that will add everything that you need to be able to build a battery, but we are going to end up with an extra battery cell, and that might use resources that you don't want to use. So what do we do for that? Well, there's one thing that we can do is we can pop that in there, and we can turn that proximity off. Now, when we go back in here, okay, now we've got our one battery cell and nothing else. So we can then go add missing parts. And we can run around, and you can see down the bottom right corner, stuff is crafting as we're running around. As long as you don't have, you have a weapon out, okay, or your tool or whatever, it won't craft. But as long as your hands are empty and you're in range of the resources, then it's going to build those things. So I'm just gonna, we'll let that stuff finish. And then I'm going to show you something else that you might find handy, which is the tasks. So just let this one finish. And the logic chip takes a little bit longer. There we go. Alright, so if we go back up in here, if we click on tasks, there'll be nothing in there, right? We can go into our build menu, and if we right click on here, we can go add task. And now you can see there's a little one down there, and there's a little number in the corner of all of these showing you all of the bits that we need. We just built them, so it's showing that we have enough parts for them. Okay, now up here it says tasks 1. Alright, so what we can do is we can go back into our menu up here, and we can hit tasks. You see we've got the task here. If we right click anywhere in this space, we can click show in the HUD, and we get this eyeball here. I only have one showing at a time, but now we have a look up in the corner here. It shows us what we've got. So now if I put stuff away, okay, and the proximity is turned off, it is now showing that we don't have the parts. And it's also showing that we need to have the materials. However, these tasks only count what's actually in your inventory. So, what we can do, if we actually turn the proximity on, we now have access to that crate, but it's still showing us that we don't have enough parts, which we do. So if we take these out, okay, now it's showing us that we do have enough parts. So this can be handy in like just trying to figure out what you actually want to build. So let's say I wanted to build 2 medium batteries and I wanted enough parts for that. So we could go back down here. We could right click it again, and we can go add task again. And now it's got a number 2 down there. Okay, and it still shows the same thing up here. All right. We have to, when we do that, we do need to go and reset the show in the HUD. Okay. So now it's showing how much parts we need to build 2 of them instead of just 1 of them. Once again, it's only going to show up in that task area. We'll still be able to build it if we're in range of these boxes, but it's only going to show us if the parts are actually in our inventory. Alright, so I'm going to grab this stuff out here, and now you can see we've got all the parts that we need there. I'm going to bring these up here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these in here. Right, and this crate has, so it has my parts and it also has a bunch of materials. So this is a crate that I have. I usually have it set up for every station that I visit. And now I can pick this up and I can carry this. So I normally make it practice to take a crate full of materials and enough parts to make a battery, and I just carry it onto the station. I've got all the parts that I need to fix all the broken solar panels, pop up a battery, build some cable connectors, and set it all up. Now what you might find though, let's just pop this back. Okay. Now sometimes I've got a crate here that's full of iron. Alright. And that is too heavy. Can't lift it. If I actually, let's just we just hook this up. Let's run a cable across here for a minute. I did have one set up over there for the demonstration. We use this one. So, you know, I can move this, but I can't really lift it off the ground. It's too heavy. And if I try and move it over here, look what happens to my cable. Okay. And in this case, it's just stretching it. All right. If I want to get it actually off the ship, I can. Bit of trouble. Okay, now it didn't actually have any consequence to that cable. But let's try this one. And bang, pulled the cable out. Okay. Yeah, this is not connected to anything. It's just there purely for that demonstration. Now if I wanted to get this upstairs, well, that's going to be a hassle. Good luck getting that up the stairs. In fact, I'm even going to have trouble getting that back onto the ship. Can't even lift it high enough to get it over there. Alright, so we'll just get that out of the way. Alright, so what you can do is you can grab yourself a spare crate, and I can pick that up. And see, we can lift that off the ground and we can run over there, no problems. Okay, we can even toss the crate. Okay, because it's empty. So what we can do is we can take everything out of there, and now I can lift that. Okay, but you can see I'm moving slow because I'm encumbered. I can put everything back in there. Take this stuff back. Okay, and now I can actually lift that, even though it's full. So they may patch that a bit later on. The game is still in early access. But I can now lift this. And I can run over there. I can get it up the stairs. Okay. Alright. I can toss it. Now, it does behave differently on your ship than what it does on ground. So let's grab that again and toss it over there. Okay, so it's light at the moment. This one's light at the moment. Now, if I grab everything out of here and I shove it in here while it's on the ground rather than on my ship, now I can't lift this. It's too heavy. I can lift this one. Alright. Grab that stuff again. Now I can lift that again. Let's toss that back on the ship. Lift that one again. Toss that one back on the ship. So I think this is definitely a bug. So let's just grab that. Move that one out of the way. Grab this one. Now while this is on my ship, if I put all the stuff in there, I can pick that up, no problems. Okay, same as that one. Alright, but if I go and save, so do that one there. Okay. And then we exit the game. And we reload that same save. Here we are. And now this is heavy again. Okay. This one's light. I can take all of this out. I can put it in here. I can pick that up, no problems. This one's empty. I still can't pick it up. So that only happens like that on the ship. Doesn't seem to happen on dry land. But if we can get the crate over here. Okay, it's still heavy. This one is light as pie. Let's pop the stuff in there. Okay, it's heavy. Now I can take the stuff out and it's light again. Okay. So it does react differently depending on whether you're on your ship or not. So anyway, as the box says, too much iron, So that can stay there, I don't need it. And I have my spare crate. So we have this one, and this one's now heavy as well. Because we save. So you can just transfer it while it's on your ship, transfer it into an empty container, and you'll be able to pick it up and carry it and toss it and whatever. Alright, so I think that is probably going to do it for this video. So if you found this helpful at all, please give me a like or a comment down below. If you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know how to customize all the colors and labels on your containers, there will be a link in the description for my current playthrough, and there's an episode there where I do go over the storage containers. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.